all you lovely, beautiful, and magical souls. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, just want to first off wish you guys all a very happy Imbolc slash aka the Festival of Brigid. It's known as a cross-quarter festival. That's because it falls in between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. And this time is very special, and I can feel it right now. It's pouring rain here where I am in Northern California. I can feel Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, refreshing and renewing herself. And in California, it's different everywhere in the world, of course, and this is more pertaining to the northern hemisphere. Obviously, in the southern hemisphere, it's the inverse, but there are also still neo-pagans there that will celebrate these rituals, but in a different timing. Anywho, here in California, we do have more so 2 seasons than 1 season. And here in Northern California, we kind of have 4 seasons, but not really. It's more so a wet season and a dry season, a cold and wet season, and a warm or hot dry season. And right now, this is definitely a time where Mother Gaia is refreshing and renewing herself. And that's basically what Imbolc is. It's a time of rebirth. It's a time for those the beginnings of those seeds. The ice might be starting to thaw, depending on where you are in the world, but might be starting to thaw. The seeds are there before they actually start to germinate and bring forth their life that's inside of them. And interestingly enough, I actually had I don't normally talk about these things, but I did have a sort of a spirit experience, if you will, with the deities Persephone, the goddess Persephone, and the goddess Brigid. And and why Imbolc is known as the Festival of Brigid is because she's known as a representation of that renewing, rebirth. She's often associated with both the elements of water and fire, interestingly enough. And we are having, obviously, the days starting to grow longer and longer and longer. And, so that means more light, more fire, more of that energy coming forth, but also the refreshing of water as, the snow or the ice starts to melt and thaw. Or here in California, for example, we just have our seasonal heavy rains. The goddess Brigid is part of the Celtic pantheon. She's also known as an Irish saint, interestingly enough. So, like I was saying, I had a spirit experience with both Persephone and Brigid over the course of these past 2 days. Yesterday, I had that experience with Persephone. It felt actually a little bit more personal, interestingly enough. And I don't even necessarily worship the Greek gods and goddesses, but nonetheless, she was there. And Brigid today, that felt a little less of like a personal experience. That felt more so like a watchful angel, I guess you could say, like someone watching over me, and I couldn't even tell that it was Bridget at first. Just kind of like a bright light being. But gradually, as I paid a little more attention, brought her into focus, I could tell this wasn't like my higher self, or that this wasn't some other kind of being or something. It did look like Bridget. Like I was seeing kind of like the fair skin, the bright red hair. So yeah. Anywho, what I really wanted to get into for this video, that was just more of an intro. What I really wanted to get into is, well, unfortunately, the very tough and heavy times that we're in right now, politically, and just the heart-wrenching disaster and calamity and the chaos that keeps coming in more and more and more as we get further into this Trump regime. And I want to talk about, a not so physical, not so material solution to that. Not to say that we shouldn't be taking actions here in the physical 3D realm to counter that. This is just something that can accompany and amplify those our efforts. So first off, this video is not meant for the MAGA, hard right, far right crowd. If you consider yourself one of those, feel free to please skip and scroll on. This video is intended for anyone who considers themselves part of a vulnerable or marginalized community. And this is definitely for someone who considers themselves to be an ally and is truly an ally in their actions and intentions. You can obviously even be a white man. Happy to have you, as long as your intentions are pure. But what I wanted to bring up and invite you all to is a coven of witches who are planning to take action in the near term and throughout, as long as this lasts, to take action to bind members of the Trump regime and MAGA, to bind them, spellbinding. And also to send a cone of strength, love, and protection to marginalized and vulnerable communities, the LGBTQ plus community, people of color, immigrants, the poor, the disenfranchised, women, sending strength, love, and a cone of protection to all of them. So it encompasses both of those elements in different turns. So yeah, like I'm saying, I would like to extend an invitation if your intentions are pure and you wish to contribute to this and participate in this. I would love to extend an invitation to this coven to you all. And this is something that's definitely new territory and different for me. All the more reason I would love to have all of you who may be more experienced participating in this. The more the merrier, within reason. Obviously quality over quantity, but within reason, the more the merrier. Yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of new territory for me, but I love to participate in it. I have taken part in an Imbolc ritual several years ago, and that also coincidentally happened to be during the first Trump administration, and we did take sort of a political action or ritual, if you will. But as far as, spellbinding and magic and all of that, this is pretty new to me. As you wouldn't suspect it from the title. Sorry, my username. You wouldn't suspect that. Spellbound Sapphire, and I'll go into that in a later date. What I actually meant by that username. In part, it does have to do with magic and witchcraft, yes, but in part, it's something to do with something else. But yeah, I would definitely consider myself a novice to this, and it'll be a new and definitely a learning experience for me. But as far as spirituality and just working with the energies, that and working with the deities, that's nothing new for me. So yeah, make of it what you will, and I would love to have all of you participating. I'd just love to extend that invitation to all of you. More than happy to have you. And that invitation is open to anyone of any identity or race, or other various identity to participate. More than happy to have you, as long as your intentions are pure and you're part of that community or an ally. Thank you. Namaste. Be well.